That is the storyteller. As long as I'm pointing at them, they have to keep talking, keep telling the story, and it has to make sense. Right? When I move from one person to another, the first person has to stop immediately. And the second person has to start from exactly where the last person left off. In the middle of a sentence, in the middle of a word, it doesn't matter. And they cannot think about it or go, If at any stage somebody goes, or makes a mistake, says something that doesn't make sense, we want you to go, die! And that person die.
Your experience is
right. This is where it's like when you're watching TV and the show is really, really bad. You want to go, get off, now you just do that. Okay? So watch them very closely, because they're very, very good at this. So if they make any mistake at all, you've got to get rid of them. And we'll keep going until there's only one person left or they finish the story. I want to practice now to make sure that nobody's embarrassed to shout. So when I count to 3, I want you all to shout, die, die, die. 1, 2, 3. Die, die, die. Nice. Almost exactly in tune with each other. Good rhythm there. Die, die, die. But you wanted the boat. Very good. So, because we are from Ireland, we want to tell you a classic Irish story. A classic Irish fairy tale that comes from ancient times and mythology. And only you know what that story is going to be. So I want you now to give us a suggestion for what this classic Irish fairy tale mythological story is going to be.
It's about the age of a rock.
The age?
Of a rock.
The age of a rock. How old a rock is.
Something like that.
Okay, something like that. Okay. So we'll take that suggestion and we'll build on it a little bit. This story is about how old a rock is. Is the story told? Give us one more piece of information. Is it told from the rock's point of view? Is the rock actually only 2 seconds old? Is there something peculiar about it?
Legendary rock.
It's a legendary rock. Okay, this is a rock of legend. So the age of the legendary rock is the name of the story. Listen very carefully. Here we go. Chapter 1.
Shawnee was out digging in his garden, planting some spuds, when he uncovered this large white rock. It kind of shone, and he looked down at it, and he thought he could hear something coming from the rock.
There was not 1, not 2, but 3 little mice running around the base of this white, glowing rock.
These 3 little mice could talk English to each other.
And this miracle in front of Sean's eyes made him think of one old story that he remembered his grandfather always told him about the white rock of Jerry fucking Great.
The white rock of Jerry fucking Great stood on a hill, on top of a hill, on top of a hill.
This was actually a mountain. But they didn't the word mountain back then, so they said a hill on top of a hill, on top of a hill.
It was a magical rock.
It shone out towards the distance, and there was boats at sea.
Jerry fucking Great was the man in charge of this white rock.
He was a druid, and he had many, many druidic talents.
One of these was to charm animals and
Also seduce them when he wanted a little bit of nookie on the side.
Because he loved animals.
Mice were his favorite animals.
He loved to get a nice, fluffy, round mouse.
and teach this mouse to do things that no one else
Should ever have to do.
So now we skip forward a little bit to chapter 2.
One evening, there was a fine big vessel coming upon the sea in front of the big white rock on top of the hill, on top of the hill, on top of the hill.
Which was a mountain.
Jared fucking Craig saw
was the Vikings. They were arriving to Ireland. It was the year 913, I think.
He thought to himself, this doesn't look good. They're big, hairy men with horns
on top of their head. This is surely a sign
that we are going down. So he told his little
mice that he was going to hitch a ride in their backs out of there. So, with that, the mice said, right, hop upon us. He harnessed
himself to the biggest mouse. And the poor little mouse became a little
flattened mouse.
So, after a long time...
Very good, very good. Do it just like that. Carefully, chapter 3.
Jerry had made it onto Achill Island. This is the smallest island off the west coast of Ireland. He had the rock under his arm, no less.
Yes. It's a dramatic pause. It's meant to be a joke. There's only two of them left. Can they finish the story before they get killed?
Which was where what's-his-name from the beginning of the story happened to live. Many, many years later, of course. Shawneen Og, who was a fine hurling player. In fact, he took Ireland to the All-Ireland final against Finland in 2051, which became a very popular sport in Finland in that time. But, so Jerry said to himself, he could also see the Vikings. They were pillaging and raping and ruining the lands of Ireland.
By herself, the final chapter.
With that, Jerry lifted a dark cloak off the white glowing rock, and he shone it out as a beacon onto the Isle of Ireland and blinded every single one of those feckin' Vikings. And they all crumbled and turned to ash. And that is a true story.
Get out of the room because they can't hear what's happening now, right? What we're going to need is from you